podcast, Playing the Field, Field Journal 007. Today I'm joined by Meats. What are you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Field? Thanks for having me on.
All right, so we're going to get right down to it. The meat and potatoes. We got a lot to run through in this show. It's only week one, so not too much to talk about in the league. I'm not going to bother with stats or anything like that. Just got some quick hitter questions for you.
For sure.
And this is, I guess, first let's talk about Graham's had kind of mentioned about Prime and just like maybe the league as a whole, that this cycle has been divisive, that everything is to be, separate into cliques or groups, and that it's been a very divisive league so far. Would you agree with that? Do you think it's good for business, or do you think it's kind of toxic, or what are your thoughts on that?
I gotta disagree, and I think it's because I don't know. Madden has kind of always sucked, and everybody's kind of on the same page with that.
Hmm.
I feel like this Madden in particular, like it's more split, but people are still like, yeah, okay, it sucks. In terms of the cliques and the groups and chat, I think it all just kind of started as a joke,
Hmm.
and guys have just taken it as a joke. I don't think anybody is serious about any of that divisive stuff. I mean, I know Grams likes to talk, and he's in my DMs all the time, and we have some good conversations.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any truth to that. I think the SML is as strong as it ever has been.
Okay, so with the divisive talk being out of the way, let's get something that's divisive. The bigger letdown, Woods or Noel? And I'm not talking about last season or last week, but as the cycle's whole. Because, for me, I had high expectations for Noel. I think that I thought he was a really good user. What was he? I think he was Tampa last year. And
Yeah, he had that awesome running back that always got
yeah,
hurt.
yeah, I thought that he was a fantastic player. And I understand that, he's the Bills team he inherited at the beginning of the cycle is not as good as they are now. And then Woods, who Prime always talks up as, that guy that's right there, that's, so close on the cusp of being a great player, and that was supposedly a great player once upon a time. In your opinion, who's the bigger letdown, Woods or Noel?
I'm gonna go with Null, and I think it's just because he's been so bad this cycle. I think he went 3-13
Yeah.
last season or something like that. And then last cycle he was doing so well. He was winning 10 plus games a season. He didn't make it to a Super Bowl, but he may have made it to a few NFC Championship games. I don't really remember. Um, Woods, on the other hand, I don't. He's to me he's the same player he always has been. And I have plenty of experience with him, being that he was in my division last cycle. But even dating back to Madden 19, which was 3 cycles ago at this point,
Hmm.
like he was really good with the Patriots. Everyone was hyping him up, like, oh, he's going to win a title. And he never did. And I don't even think he made a Super Bowl with that Patriots team. And so to me, Woods is kind of like that guy that's right there and just hasn't taken that next step. And he's like always on that top step, but he's like refusing to take that next one to get him really over the top and get him into being a true Super Bowl contender.
Would you say that the biggest derogatory or negative remark on Woods is his decision making, both offensively and defensively, especially in big games where he seems to have, like we just saw at week one, kind of a big collapse. He took a lead over Dirty Dan and then blew it. I mean, what do you think is what's holding Woods back?
Well, this cycle, I can't really say much because I haven't watched many of his games,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I think it's probably the same thing it always has been. He gets in those big moments and he
Right.
just can't get it done. Um, like you said, week one against Dan, somehow blew that game. I don't know how. And he played pretty well too. Chubb averaged almost 10 yards a carry. Hartman only had 3 incompletions. Um, and still, I mean, listen, Dan's the best guy in the league, and I know he's
Sure.
lost 2 straight Super Bowls, but he's the best player in the league right now. Um, so I can't really fault Woods for that. But listen, man, you're in arguably the worst division in the league, other than the NFC North. There's no reason for you not to win that division every single year. And NYT is okay. He's
Sure.
good. He's not great.
Yeah,
So
he's always good for an upset. I mean, he does have the running back Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, but like you said, I just feel like it's something that he should be having control of is the AFC North. We'll move on though. If you could add one player, and I'm talking in our league right now, if you could grab any player off any roster, who would it be and why? I think I know who you're going to pick. I feel like you're going to pick the running back from the 49ers, but go ahead.
I, you know what? I think you're wrong.
Hmm.
And I gotta go with Kenny Clark.
Okay.
Uh, I'm the Packers in another league, and he has inside zone stop or whatever his ability is, where he gets like basically instant shed anytime somebody runs the ball in line. And it's so overpowered. Like I have a great defense in my other league just almost purely because of Kenny Clark. So my front seven with this Cardinals team has been suspect most of the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Hassan Reddick's okay. Had Demario Davis there for a while, but he retired. And other than that, man, my front seven's been lacking. So I think that X Factor DT with the OP ability would just take my defense up a notch because I cannot stop anybody defensively. So I've had to change my offensive play style to limit possessions.
So I'm going to take a look at your roster real quick. You've got, what, 5 players over 90 overall. Simmons, strong safety. Booty Baker, 96. DeAndre Hoppy, 96. Byron Murphy Jr., 95. So, I mean, your secondary should be set. I don't know why you're struggling, and then you got Kyler.
My secondary is awesome. I don't have a problem with them at all. It's the front seven.
Yeah. I'm looking at that now, and they are kind of.
It's hard to lean on that top 4 guys on the defensive side when running has been so overpowered the last 2 years that it's just like. Well, last cycle, my biggest problem with the Ravens was that I couldn't develop a secondary. I had Marlon Humphrey, but he stayed star the whole season. So this year I looked for teams that had a good secondary to start from and go from there. And I have arguably the best like overall secondary in the league right now. But my front seven's lacking. And so it's like, I thought because running was overpowered last cycle, I thought they were going to fix it to be back to normal this cycle. Cause that's what they usually do. When something's broken one cycle, it's nerfed and really bad the next cycle. So, I kind of took bets on the secondary, and I've been trying to find like a great linebacker since day one. I've been trying to find some pass rush since day one, and I had Chandler Jones. He did really well for me, but then he had a down season, and I traded him, and I don't know. I can't remember exactly what I got out of it, but he wasn't worth the $20 million he was asking for.
So we'll go on to another topic. But if you're on the final drive, are you more confident being on offense or defense? If it's the dead-ass last drive of the game, would you rather be on offense or defense? What are you more confident in?
Absolutely, 100%. It's not even close. Because, yeah, for sure. And I don't know why, and I don't think there was an update, but about halfway through last season, I just felt my defense fall out from under me. I was giving up so many points towards the last 8 games of the season. But I've always felt like I've had a pretty good offense. And so if I'm down by 3 points, I'll take the ball every time, as opposed to having a 3-point lead. Which maybe is counterintuitive because you get one stop, you win, whatever. But I feel more confident in my ability to kick a field goal or score a touchdown than I do to prevent it from going the other way.
So, and before I forget, I actually had a slight rebuttal to what you said on the last topic. You mentioned that if it's broken, or overpowered, they nerf it or just, fuck it up altogether the next cycle. I think this is kind of a common trend now, though. It's not necessarily just like one and done. Like screens, especially halfback screens, are extremely nerfed. The pitch plays are extremely nerfed. Basically, like the running game has become predicated on guys, being sticky with it, knowing how to pick the holes, and just having that little twitch to glitch out the tackler. You still can't make a tackle from behind, which has been a problem, I'd say, the last probably 3 Maddens now, where you can't. But if I hit square, I'm not saying I should be able to tackle him every time, but he should engage that animation and just dive, and they don't, no matter how many times that you tackle or hit the button. So that was just something I wanted to throw out there, that I feel like the running game is still going to be OP just because that was kind of their answer for it to not be very good at all. They made it easier for everybody to run because a lot of average players, a lot of people in general really struggle with the running game, and they tried to catch up to the passing game, and now I feel like it's kind of taken over, and that's just something that they've accepted, especially like with pass rush abilities and all that. I think that's about the only neutralizer you have is if you have a strong running game. But that was just something I wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, I think this cycle is it got to be the most overpowered offense
Hmm.
that I can remember, and I've been playing since Madden '04. So, um, I mean, obviously Mike Vick, but aside
Right.
from Mike Vick, because they didn't fix the running game, they might have nerfed it a little bit, but it's still really overpowered.
Yeah.
Um, and now there's basically no pass rush, so quarterbacks are getting all sorts of time to throw in the pocket.
Hmm.
And you get, you're getting offensive records broken left and right, and defenses can't do anything. So, um, I don't know. I'm hoping, and I know this is totally unwarranted, but I'm hoping that with next gen they're able to balance it out next cycle.
It's not so much next gen; it's that they need to have an independent game engine. I mean, if you go to Google right now, and we'll just do it for the fun of it, Madden game engine. It what is it? I forget it. It's the Frostbite 3, and you look at what it was designed for was Battlefield. That's the same game engine that's in Dragon Age, Inquisition, and Battlefield. They need a game engine that's designed specifically for the game of football. And until you have that, I don't think that you're going to fix these legacy issues. You're still going to have a lot of the same issues until they have just a game engine specifically for Madden. I don't think it's ever going to happen. EA doesn't want to invest in the money to do that. They're satisfied with the microtransactions, but it is what it is. Either you just play the game and learn to find some enjoyment of it, or figure out how to play within the confines they give you, or you say fuck it and don't play it anymore.
Yeah, Frostbite Engine really made the game look really good, and I think that's a positive thing. But I mean, look at those other games you just listed. None of them have like real time physics. So it's
No,
like,
it's a shooter. It's all destructive
right.
environments and stuff like that. And you said it makes the game look good. Well, I agree and disagree. Like, yeah, some of the individual player models look good, but the stadium, the fans, like none of that ever really made much of a leap. Like, yeah, with next gen they addressed like a few close up shots with fans and the grass or whatever. But even now, like they just haven't made many large strides. I still think, and I've brought this up before, that they need to go to a service based game where you pay annual fees. Like let's say it's $60 annual license fee for Madden. They update it all the time. After the draft, you get the roster update for the new rookies. If you want franchise mode, you pay another $20 a year or whatever it is for your franchise to for servers and for special updates. Like they could make it a cash cow, and I think guys would be okay with it because they're going to start getting those dividends that they expect. Like hey, we're getting some return out of our investment. We're getting extra features for franchise mode or the game itself. Like you can download Legends rosters just to use and play now or whatever mode. And I don't know. There's just I guess I'm getting off topic, but I just think that they're missing the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I would totally be okay with that, and I know that's been thrown around before, but
Hmm.
like I'd totally be okay with a subscription, even
Yeah.
if it was slightly more than the cost of a game per year.
Hmm.
If it got the game to be better, I'd be down with paying $5 a month, 5-10 bucks a month, somewhere in that range.
You're already doing an annual subscription. You're buying the game every year.
Right, which at this point is not worth the money. It's
No,
just I'm paying $60 to be in the SML.
you're paying $60 a day with the SML and have updated rosters if you choose to play
Exactly.
online or on your own. But we'll move on. These are more personal topics about you. The obvious one that everyone likes to bring up is the folding chair. I know your thoughts are that you've moved past that moniker because you've had some success in the playoffs. Do you think that at this point, no matter what happens, you're gonna have to win a Super Bowl to get rid of that?
Yeah, I think I've done enough this cycle alone to prove to myself that I have to win a Super Bowl to get rid of
Yeah,
it. Because I mean, I made a Super Bowl season one, and it was like, oh, he got blown out in the Super Bowl folding chair. I'm like, well, I won 3 games to get there.
right.
We're now 4 seasons in. I have a winning record in the playoffs so far. Uh, in part due to that Super Bowl run, but that's besides the point. Um, and then you get guys like I'm not gonna name names, but there's guys that should be making those Super Bowl runs
Hmm.
that are losing in the first or second round of the playoffs every season. That nobody bats an eye at. So
Are
I
you
don't know. I
saying
think
prime?
it's yeah, obviously.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Uh, let's talk.
uh
Go ahead.
yes. No, so I'm just saying like I think it's beyond that at this point. I think
Hmm.
it's just a nickname at this point
Okay.
until I win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's just kind of your high school moniker that you can't ditch until you finally get the hot cheerleader to go out with you. But we're,
Exactly.
we're gonna go here. I think it was League Crawler that posted, and everybody was kind of talking. Are you gonna do that Photoshop competition, or have you seen it?
This is the first I'm hearing of it actually.
Oh, okay. Well, let me see if I can find it real quick. But I'd seen it was a tweet, and I think it was from League Crawler where they're talking about sending your. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I should have had it. I assume that you would have heard about it because that people are
I've
even
been
mentioning that you
yeah,
should have been, uh, like if you don't do it, that here it is right here, Madden graphic. Let me bring this up on so everyone at home could see it.
I'm scrolling through trying to find it right now.
I'm on LeagueCrawler.com, Madden
Got it.
graphic design contest. So it says it's a fucking 4-minute read. Jesus Christ. Good afternoon. As you know, we've been doing a lot of new things here at League Crawler. I wanted to let you know about a new feature we're trying out, contest. You're probably thinking another Madden tournament? Nope. Call of Duty? Nope. But we're exploring that more to come later. We're planning a series of contest competitions where you can showcase your league's content. For the month of March, we are going to start simple and hold a graphic design competition. In the future, we might do a best live stream, play call, best logo, best overlay, and so on. So how will this work? Well, first off, you have to be registered on the site. You can do that here. Once you've registered and logged in, head over to our forums under Contest, Graphic Design Contest, March 2021, or just click here. Once you're there, you can upload your graphic to the forum. Simply reply to the thread and click on the image button to upload your graphic. I don't know, like, what... Oh, you have to read... Like I said, I ain't got time to read through all this, but...
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
browsing through it. I've been super busy with work the last week or
yeah,
two, so I've been like
you got a
I
week.
might have seen 20% of what's going on in chat right now. But I've been popping in when I can. So it's the first I'm seeing of it. But yeah, that's definitely something I'll have to look
This is,
into entering.
you got till Wednesday, March 10th to submit it, and there's really no prize. It just says bragging rights and promotion for your league as the prize.
Well, that's worth it.
Yeah, so anyway, I just thought I'd throw it out there and see if you'd heard of it and if you intended on getting in it since you're kind of the golden child for Photoshop. But
Well, I have a billion different graphics to pick from, so I'm sure I'll throw something in there.
okay. My next topic, I got two left here. Crunching the numbers, which has kind of been, on ice or dead since QB's gone. Is that going to be brought back at any point in time, you think, or is it done unless QB comes back?
You know, that hasn't even really been thrown out there.
Yeah.
And I think if it were to be brought back, it'd be at me and Grams. The problem is, it was QB's spreadsheet and his idea. And it was also such a niche show
Hmm.
that it feels like only me and Grams and like three other people would watch it on a weekly basis. So to me personally,
Not
I
worth
just
it.
don't think it's worth it
I see.
because it takes so much effort to
Hmm.
keep that spreadsheet up to date. Now, if QB comes back, I'd be more than happy to be his co-host again. But to me, it's just not worth it because I like to see results for what I do when I
Right.
put in a lot of effort. So putting in that much effort for like I don't know 4 or 5 views just wouldn't be worth it to me.
Okay. Well, I just thought I'd throw it out there. I haven't seen it, and it gets
Now,
brought
hey,
up
if
every so often.
somebody wants to host it and do the spreadsheet, I'll hop on and be the co-host. I mean, I love my stats, so
Last topic. You've mentioned it earlier. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you've been part. This is your third cycle with the SML.
fourth.
This is your fourth. I remember you had
Yeah.
Bengals, Giants. Oh, Bengals, Giants, Ravens, and then, uh, Cardinals.
Cardinals. Yep.
What was the best team you've had between those?
The best team overall was and probably most fun was the Ravens. It's just
Right. It's your
all the
favorite
broken
team, and
abilities. Freddie Golden, just RIP him. Um, I don't know, but I've thoroughly enjoyed every cycle here. With the Bengals, it was about that team needed a rebuild badly. But
Yeah.
I was also really bad when I came into the league because it was my first time playing competitively. So that was about just improving my game. And then I was the Giants, who also needed a rebuild. And I think I had like a 20th overall pick in the draft that year just because that was before our evals. So we would do just a dice roll or whatever.
Hmm.
So I got stuck with the Giants, which, I was happy about. I was a little upset that Saquon couldn't stay healthy.
Right.
Odell was overrated and never really did anything good for me. So I have to say Madden 19 was definitely the least fun that I've had with a cycle, but I mean, still like marginally. This cycle has been really fun, but like I just recently, in this down stretch, I'm like 1-6 in my last 7 games, something like that.
Hmm.
And it's that time of the year, mid-cycle fatigue just hits me so hard. Like I usually take like a week off or something. But it's like, I don't know. I'd have to say that Ravens team was it was too much fun. Um,
Well, you just kind of opened up a can of worms for me because Prime mentioned it before. I've talked about it. I mean, my biggest thing, and if you're used to winning and you're competitive at all, like I don't do this just for like. I mean, I enjoy obviously the part that brought me back is doing podcast and just being part of the league itself. But obviously, number one is you want to compete and try to win. So when you're constantly losing, I think that makes it difficult to stay positive and want to play the game. Do you think that? Uh, Obviously what you're feeling right now is because you're 1-6 in your last few games. I mean, had you been, winning and making noise in the playoffs, continuing, would you say that you'd feel more refreshed than if you keep losing? If you keep losing, are you gonna get even more fatigued?
I was just thinking to myself after I lost to Rowan
Hmm.
like 2 days ago, and I was like, dang, this feels bad.
Yeah.
Losing this many games in a row. Like I get it.
Right.
When I came in the league, I went 5-11, 2 seasons in a row,
Hmm.
and that was fine because it was like,
You had no
you know,
expectations.
right. First couple of games was like figuring out how good I am competitively, which was not very at the time. Um, and then I was, you know what? It was whatever. I think I went 9-7 my third season and 12-4. So I got a lot better, very fast.
Hmm.
Um, I still feel like I'm getting better, but I think I may have plateaued to the point where maybe I'm as good as I'm ever going to get, and it's just going to take a good run to win a Super Bowl or not.
Right.
Um, but early in the cycle, I felt that improvement still coming. At this point in time, it feels like I just coasting. And I have a problem where usually around this time, February, March, April, somewhere in there,
Hmm.
I'll get just super fatigued with the game because before I was in the SML, I was usually done with the game by October, November at the latest. So playing it year round is awesome, but at
Right.
the same time, like
You get burnt out.
exactly.
My thing,
And
I think coasting is a bullshit excuse. I just don't buy that because how can you say that you're giving it a half-assed effort? You want to win every single game you play, and I'm not you're not the only one that says that you coast through games, and that maybe people do play a little distracted or whatever. But honestly, when you're in that game, either you're giving it your all and you're invested for that 40 minutes or 50 minutes, however long it takes to complete the game, or you're not. I mean, if you were just coasting, you'd be getting blown out all the time. You'd be just lackadaisically picking plays, not really setting up your defense and things like that. I think it just comes to the point where, like me, the competition has superseded us, especially like you. The gap's a lot closer than my skill gap from the rest of the guys, but the skill gap's there. Even Prime, he's starting to feel the skill gap with guys like Bomber, Dirty Dan. I don't know how if he's played RD yet, but I think that the longer the league stays going, the more competitive guys are going to get, the better players we're going to get, and the OGs, which I hate saying that all the time, but all the veteran players of the SML are either going to have to keep up or they're going to become the league doormat.
yeah, I I think what I meant with coasting is not like going into each game individually. I just meant like not getting any better. I just feel like my talent is coasting, not like I still have a problem going into games and not maybe taking a guy as
Mhm.
seriously as I should, and then I'll end up losing that game. C Tiny beating me last season. Um, but at the same time, like it's so hard because we play, I don't know, what, 16 games a season times 7 or 8 seasons. So we play like over 100 games a season. Like it's so hard to go into every single game with that mindset. Like, okay, I have to win. This is a must win game. Uh, but I've been working on that, and so I'm trying not to take anybody even unintentionally lightly.
Mhm. Yeah, I just the only reason I brought it up because you said the word, and then I remember there was a podcast you and Prime had talked about, coasting, and you both kind of basically said that you more or less kind of get burnt out and don't really put the same effort into it that you once did. But I don't know, man. I think it's hard to stay competitive without falling completely into YouTube cheese or whatever. Because if you keep trying to, I mean, how much more can you improve without beginning to look for exploits and stuff like that? Your interception totals aren't horrible. Defensively, like that, you could probably shore up a little bit by drafting guys or free agents or whatever. But after you make a good, talented defensive roster, how much better can you improve your defense without looking for that YouTube defense setup? Your running game, my running game's average. Unless I start looking into these other avenues of bettering my running game, then I'm going to stay stagnant and below average running the ball. So I think that's kind of the wall you wind up hitting is, are you willing to dabble in that gray area where some guys possibly are playing, or do you want to have some integrity in the game and, win, lose, or draw, you play the best, but you're playing mostly as sim as you can. So I don't know. I don't think that it's a bad thing that you plateaued. I think a lot of it's just going to be having that ideal playoff matchup, having a couple of dominoes land in the right spot, and you kind of getting a monkey off your back.
Yeah, I think I'm at a weird point right now, and I think a couple of these other guys near the top of the standings
Mm-hmm.
will know what I'm talking about. I'm at a weird point right now where honestly, I don't think I can see myself getting better in the regular season. Like where I need to improve is in the playoffs, and it's like it takes 16 games to get there, and it's just a long time not to be able to see any improvements. Like last season, I started 9-1-1. I finished 10-5-1 or something like that. Um, which obviously I saw myself regress like so much
Mm-hmm.
right at the end of the season. But that 9-1-1, that's where I felt I deserved to be in the standings and overall. So it's like it's hard to go in, like maybe okay going 16-0, but I went 15-1 once last cycle.
Right.
So it's really interesting that your whole ruler for judgment is in the playoffs.
That's like Raiders said. I mean, there's one winner and 31 losers. So I mean that's kind of cliche to say that or whatever, but it's true. I mean, no matter how good you are, uh, if you get in the playoffs and you lose, I mean, you're still the second, third, fourth place loser. So I don't know, man. I think you are obviously a good player. I don't know if you're good enough to beat the couple guys that are ahead of you. Obviously, you don't really have to worry about making the playoffs as much as I do. I mean, I haven't made the playoffs of my own merit in probably a very long time. So I know that I'm kind of right there at that 7-9 type season. So after a while, it
Well,
just
hey,
mentally gets hard.
yeah, I mean, hey, it may have been 35 seasons ago, but nobody can take that trophy away from you, you know?
And that's right. At least I got one. You don't. So
Yeah, so I'm
there's that.
talking some royalty right here.
That's right. All right. Well, we're nearing the 30-minute mark. Do you got any closing statements?
No, yeah, I guess my message to the SML is to just, not everybody needs to win a title.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 32 guys in the league. If you're losing a bunch of games, probably not having all that much fun. I'd say just look and have fun in team building or have fun in chasing that playoff spot and consider that a win for you, you know?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the type of person. Like I know there's guys like Coop and whatever that I mentioned it before that they know that they're not, a winner or that they're a 500 sub 500 team and they get their enjoyment, either by playing Upset Alert occasionally or basically just being in the chat. So for me to have that enjoyment is doing podcasts, doing little things, being a little bit more active in chat, or I I still enjoy playing the game. I just fucking hate losing, and it's frustrating when I feel like I'm good enough, and then you're not. But only time will tell if we can get over the hump. So keep your head up. Just keep on swinging the axe, I guess, out there for everybody that's in the struggle bus. And we understand the fatigue because we're both, we both, Meats is there now. I was just there, a couple months ago. So it's not hard to get burnt out when you're constantly playing one game of Madden, especially if you're not hoisting the Simbardi 17 times. But we're going to close this out. If you check us out first time, check us out, SendMaddenLeague.com, daddyleagues.com/SML. Get your thong or G-string on Zazzle, Send Madden League store. Appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, take